everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run, Glassway with Titan. For my loadout, I'll be using Thunder Crash. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Stasis Scout. For my energy, I'll be using Laminarch, and heavy will be Fallen Guillotine. For my helmet, I'll be using 10 Resilience, double sword ammo, finder with charge, harvester. For the arms will be firepower and Tiberius scout rifle with overload bow. Next will be double solar and arc resilience with 10 resilience and void damage resilience with stacks on stacks. Next will be enhanced sword scavenger with scout rifle holster and firepower. Next will be double bomber with firepower. In an artifact mod to stagger overload champions. So for this week, I decided to go for Titan. This is just an extra video and I am so sorry. This is embarrassing. Okay, let's try again. So let's pretend it didn't happen where the sparrow just decided to embarrass me. And I try to do the twirl, you know, like you can do on PC, but it didn't work out. Sorry about that. I forgot, I'm on PlayStation 5. So for this video, I am going to do a build where I just spam storm grenades. Now I do apologize that this run will be slow and I will do so many time skips. Mainly it's because, well, I was having trouble dealing with the Wyverns or the evil peacock vex. They were giving me a lot of trouble, mainly, and yes, I'm having a lot of bad luck on Titan. I didn't really have too much bad luck on my hunter run. But for some reason, when I was doing this around my Titan, I was having just weird things happen to me. Like, for an example, the Overload Champion, I was staggering it and then it just decided to jump and move, which it didn't do that on my Hunter run. And then there's times where Overload Champions, the Minotaurs by the way, they're not cooperating and it's just super frustrating and extremely RNG of sometimes of how they behave. And then the teleportation with the Riven and the barriers. I had a run where the barrier champion and the Riven, they teleported both at the same time. So I try my best not to pass the cliff. Mainly I want to take down the Overload champion that will teleport from the right side. There will be a couple of wretches and fallen ads that will push. You can just punch it, right? And if they jump on the cliff in front of you. They did it in this footage, unfortunately. I would love to show off of how, you know, how you punch it with a Titan. And once I do that, I spawn the adorable, annoying, frustrating baby servitor. And all you have to do is clear down the ads. For me, I couldn't clear all of it, but I just was losing my patience. So I just threw my storm grenades, break the baby servitor's shield, and then just abuse it and use finisher, and then take down the fallen that is behind me. Usually this method can be dangerous, but I am using Thunder Crash. So when you are using the super for Thunder Crash, right, then you'll have the splash damage of the surroundings where the fallens will get damage, basically. Well, they will get hit. So mainly on this section, I just usually try my best to take down to the snipers, at the same time throw a nade from the left side, because these Pacific Fallens from the left side, they love to throw these arc grenades, which can be extremely annoying and it can be distracting. At the same time, I was trying to see where these snipers are because I had one on top of the right side not cooperating with me in this footage. So I was trying to aim, but my controller is being extremely weird. So I realized that my controller is broken. It's not working well. I am planning to buy a new controller, but I already bought the new controller that costs $200, right? The one you pre-order. So I really don't want to bother myself buying $80 for a new PlayStation 5 controller. I just cannot bother myself. So yes, my runs are going to be pretty not so great because of my controller and the warranty expire. And they actually complain about me, GameStop. They think I break the controller on purpose. No, it's Glassway, it's Lightblade. It's the Nightfalls, they're the ones that break my controllers, but they don't believe me. They think I'm just joking around. They think I want free stuff. But anyway, you spam these storm grenades and then you throw a grenade up to the stairs if you can. Now I am backing away because sometimes the storm grenades doesn't cooperate with me. And they do guarantee 90% that they will clear out as much ads from the top stairs. So the storm grenades, now the funny thing about these storm grenades is they can actually track enemies. That I didn't really know too much until I realized on my Glassway video where I was dealing with the Overload Minotaurs and they were following them. So storm grenades can actually fall in, especially on areas like Glassway, flat platform. There's no death pit like in this area. That's one thing you have to realize, that even if you mess up your storm grenades, it will slowly move to the mini boss, depending of the platform, depending on the area. Perfect place, the boss fight mainly. But yeah, anyways, I decided to throw a nade, and then there's going to be an overload champion. Yes, a overload champion, and hopefully nothing bad will happen, right? So there are snipers from far distance of where the mini boss is, since I haven't taken all of them down. So make sure you throw your grenades, make sure you take down this fallen that will snipe you with the arc attack or the snipe, basically that. Eventually the overload champion will get fed up and then just move behind the rock, as you can see over here. If you do see the overload champion, just spam and abuse storm grenades. Like I said, storm grenades can actually move and track the enemy that is nearby. I didn't really know 100% until I was doing some test runs with my Titan, but I'm just letting you know up ahead that it can. So definitely throw your grenades at the overload champion, and once you do, try to not pass that wall up ahead or that rock from the far left side. You don't want the barrier to spawn yet. You want to make sure you clear all the ads, kill the boss, because if you don't, you will spawn the barrier champion and he's going to, or she is going to tether all the enemies, and it's going to tether this mini boss over here, which you don't want. So it's a nightmare, trust me. You don't want that to happen. It has happened to me before, and now this boss is behaving weird. I don't know why. It doesn't like Titans. It never done this on my hunter run. Now it's just being aggressive and it's starting to spam grenades at me. Well, dust field grenades, excuse me. But it is just ridiculous. You know, this boss is just behaving so weird. Every time I'm on a Titan or Warlock, or mainly Titan, it's just weird things happening. Now we're going to spawn, kill the barrier champion. My bad. I was trying to, shoot the barrier, use the thunder crash on the barrier, but my controller, my analog stick, it's not working properly. And also you can tell for console players, if you do try to switch weapons or try to throw a grenade while jumping or switching weapons, if you're using the sword and then automatically your sword does this heavy attack by itself, then it automatically means that your controller is not 100% good. It would definitely need to get warranted for that, and it's basically saying the controller is almost going to break 60 or 50%, and that's basically what happened to me. So you'll see me randomly using the heavy attack even though I don't want to, but my guardian is doing that. So for this section, I decided to wait for the objective to spawn. Once I see a blink of a white background, I quickly jump and then deal with the shanks. I tried to skip the fallens to spawn. So there is a trick to skip the fallens. So if you guys are wondering, usually there are a couple, like 8 fallens that throw grenades and arc grenades and walk around. You can actually skip them. You just have to wait, and then you see a flash blinking, white background, and then the objective starts to change. Then that's your cue to quickly move so you can skip the fallens and only deal with the shanks. Alright, so for this section, first things first, you must make the Overload Champion to be aggressive. Reason is because if you don't make this Overload Champion to push, he's going to fall down, like that. But luckily, because the Traveler and the Speaker and Bungie is being nice to me for once in this video, it counts as a defeat champion. Now sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the Overload Champion will fall and then it will say you did not defeat the Overload Champion. Sometimes it happens, so basically that will mean you would start all over again. Or if you don't give a Bungie about Platinum rank, right? Then I would say just move on, be on your way, and then just deal with the next Overload Champion. That's basically my recommendations. So now we're gonna deal with this other Overload Champion. It just can't stop. It's just too many Overload Champions. Way too many Overload Champions. You know what's the best part about this? You want me to tell you? There's gonna be more Overload Champions at the boss fight. But Minotaurs, isn't it great? I'm so excited for this. Sarcastically. You know what I really love about this Nightfall? When you throw grenades, it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't stagger the Overload Champion. They just keep moving and teleporting and shooting void. That's just so excited. I'm so happy they made it so challenging and bugged. It just makes everything perfect, right? So for this one, I do recommend, of course, take down the shanks first. So you do need to capture the plate. We had to drain the electric pole of death, or the Pika electric pole. Pikachu, electric Vex, milk. I'm trying to think of jokes over here. Let's just call it the Pikachu electric pole. We're gonna be throwing nades up ahead, and I tried to spawn kill the shanks, and excuse me of my skills of throwing grenades. I do not have the esoteric grenade skills. Now, I'll be really honest with you. When I saw the storm grenades throwing, following the shanks, and I was getting my nades correctly, I'm pretty much proud of myself because finally I'm throwing the grenades accurately. And I'm trying to spawn kill these shanks. Alright, finally. I'm throwing the grenades accurately-ish. So once you do capture the plate, then you're gonna deal with 4 shanks. Well, 8 shanks, my bad for that. Explosive shanks. Usually when you capture the plate, then there will be the overload to spawn. A couple of fallens from the left that will be jumping from this portal and from the right side. And then, of course, we have to deal with the barrier champion and then 4 snipers. So there is 4 snipers that are usually on top of the ceiling. And then, of course, a couple of snipers from far distance. Usually they won't spawn until you move up and pass a specific platform. So usually over here, everyone's different. I just take down the Overload Champion. Now the Overload Champion sometimes doesn't like to cooperate, like for this footage for example, he is hiding behind this rock. So you just throw your grenade and then just spam it. Now if I was using a linear fusion rifle, then you could just use your Taipon and then just spam the heavy so you can deal with this annoying Overload Champion. Alright, so now we're gonna go up ahead, and then this is when I'm gonna throw my nade. I throw my nade just to spawn kill the vandals. I don't remember if they're snipers, but anyway, they're either snipers or arc seekers. Make sure you take both of them down because they're the ones that kind of mess up my runs sometimes. Now we're gonna deal with the shank. Yes, the shank. It's just fantastic. I love it. So we have all these vandals up ahead that shoot arc seekers. You want to make sure you take down the shank. Now you could use your super, but like I said, there is a specific platform where you will spawn the barrier champion and then spawn the, of course, the 4 snipers. So you must be very careful, especially dealing with the Shank, because he just loves, and I mean loves, to hide around. It loves to hide around, loves to be a bungee. So make sure you take it down, and then once you take down the heavy Shank, then you can move forward. Just double check if you haven't taken down the fallen ads. Make sure you shoot these mines as well. Make sure you just throw your grenades, as I said before. The storm grenades can track enemies that are extremely close by. Make sure you throw your grenades. Mainly it's efficient on flat platforms, not the ones in this area, since there are a lot of not death pits, but a lot of electric poles that can make the storm grenades move awkwardly. So right now I'm having bad luck because I can't really shoot them. By the way, just to let you know, aim assist, console aim assist is going to be your worst enemy in this Glassway. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't use a linear. I was using it on my Titan run, but the problem was this, aim assist. Alright, so when I was taking down the baby Hydra, I staggered the Overload champion and I was trying to take it down. But then this baby Hydra was in the way and my guardian was moving a different direction and then I die. That's why I didn't use a linear. It's just very, very difficult to use on console, I'll be super honest. I mean, I tried to use it, but it just wasn't working out. There's just too much things going on. And now I'm gonna go from the left side. So mainly your first objective, everyone's different, is I like to take down the 4 snipers. Once I take down the 4 snipers, I check if any of the ads fall off from the top cliff, if they are back in the way. You could throw your grenades from far distance because that's where all the fallens will be. Then they'll jump on this platform where I'm standing right now. So make sure you take down this servitor. I think I had trouble with this barrier champion. I'm not 100% sure. This was like my 8th run, by the way. I tried different loadouts. I tried grenade launcher. I tried linear, of course, linear fusion rifle. I tried a lot of weapons. I even tried a rocket. Rocket didn't work out because the Overload champion teleported in front of me. And then I guess we did a trade-off. I died and then the champion died. It was horrible, by the way. So this is actually the boss fight. Yes, the boss fight. This is going to be extremely fun. Mainly for here, take down the 4 fallens and then you must take down the Overload champion. So this one can be a little tricky because it just depends of the movement of you, RNG of how the Overload champion is going to behave. And RNG sometimes is the Hydra. So there's going to be the final boss, right? And then there's going to be this small Hydra. I call it the baby Hydra. And we're babysitting it. Yes, I'm not joking. You have to babysit this Hydra. And it is extremely annoying because this Hydra wants attention from you. And you don't want to give it attention. So mainly here, I'm just baiting the Overload champions. I'm going to pray for this baby Hydra to move the opposite side. Please move. Alright, good. No, bad baby Hydra. If this happens to you, you must turn. You must go to the opposite direction. So this is when you have to deal with the Overload champions. Just be aware of your surroundings, especially the Hydra that you have to babysit. Mainly what you want to do over here is lure this Overload champion inside the building so you can use your super or you can use your sword. This is one of the reasons why I decided to use a sword, is because it was easier, way easier to deal with the Overload champions, and plus to deal with the Wyverns as well, because they were the ones that were messing up my runs because of teleportation. I wasn't really sure where they were going. So for this part now, I decided to use Lemon Arc. So just make sure you take down this Overload champion. And I did miss, by the way. I was a bit disappointed. I'm not sure what happened there. Either I miss or the Overload Champion teleported and I got super unlucky that when I was using my Thunder Crash, it teleported and it went through the Overload Champion, or I missed the body of the Overload Champion. I'm not really sure what happened there, but that was pretty embarrassing. Usually that never happens on my Titan runs, but it happens. So now I have to look for the Overload Champion. Gotta go and play Metal Gear Solid. Have you guys ever played that game, Metal Gear Solid? Yes, we're gonna play Metal Gear Solid. So we gotta sneak up and hopefully this baby Hydra will behave. Stay there. Stay there, baby Hydra. You have to babysit. No, bad baby Hydra. If it starts moving, just move away. I'm just trying to see where the Overload Champion is. Oh, there he is. I found him. So, because this Hydra, well, this Overload Champion's been aggressive, you must pull back. Just be aware of the boss. You can see the boss over there. He can shoot you from the specific spot where I'm standing. So just immediately use your super or immediately use your sword. Now for me, I would have taken down that Overlord Champion, but I missed my super, which was bad luck, unfortunately. Extremely bad luck. So now I'm going to be dealing with this baby Hydra, half health, so we can actually deal with two more Overlord Champions. It's just fantastic. I love it. So I'm going to do a mini time skip. So once I do enough damage to this Hydra, we have to babysit. Now we have to deal with two more Overlord Champions, which is going to be a pain in the bungee. So because this Hydra was not cooperating with me, it just wants attention. Pay attention to me, Guardian. I have needs. Definitely, I was trying to take down this Overlord Champion, but then this Hydra was in the way. So usually they move to the middle or the left side, well, right side. So just be aware of your surroundings and you have to hear the footsteps. So here, finally took down the first Overlord Champion. The reason why I use my super there is because I had a feeling I heard footsteps of the Overlord Champion from the left side, the second one. So that's why I used my super immediately. If I did use my sword, right, then I wouldn't be able to make it. And yes, I do apologize, the train, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I mean, if you guys can't hear it, I'll be so happy. We took down the Overlord Champion. So if you're on red health, pull back. Pull back, try your best to hide so the Overlord Champion will retreat. You know, it's not worth going one-on-one with the Overlord Champion if you're on red health. So I did enough damage to take down the baby Hydra. Now I'm going to take down or do damage of 1 bar to deal with the boss. So I am going to do a mini time skip here until the boss's health is 1 bar. And of course, make sure you have your super as well. Once I do enough damage with the boss, now I'm going to try my best to throw a grenade to spawn kill the Wyverns. So these Wyverns are probably the most annoying to deal with on Titan especially. Usually you want to take them down quickly as possible. Now the second Wyvern always seems to walk in the middle. If not, then he'll probably walk on the far right side. You have to hear the footsteps. So I was seeing the Wyvern being a little aggressive, so make sure you throw your grenades. And just remember that the storm grenades do follow enemies nearby. So the storm grenades will actually follow the Wyvern. So just always remember, even if you mess up your grenades, it will follow it. Any enemy that is nearby. So once I take down the two Wyverns, now we have to deal with the bigger champions. So make sure you babysit the Hydra, the mini Hydra, because you want to take down the bigger champions while the Hydra is alone, while the Hydra is not shooting you. So usually the Hydra gets aggressive around 80 seconds, 90 seconds, I would say 80 seconds. Then later on it'll move around. If you're not there, just keep shooting on something, a wall. It's gonna have a tantrum and then it'll just not do anything. So just make sure the Hydra is not shooting you. So right now I was just double checking because I saw an arc. I wasn't sure if it was the bigger champion because it shoots solar. I saw arc. So I was looking from the left side just to double check if the Hydra is not shooting me. So that's why I was doing pretty bad DPS on the bigger champion because I was trying to double check of where the Hydra is. Anyway, make sure you take down the bigger champion. Usually, once you do enough damage to the Hydra, once you take down both of them, then you'll spawn Overload champions. Well, you'll spawn two more Wyverns, and then 2 more barriers. So just be aware that depending of how much DPS you do at the Hydra, it will spawn the Wyverns for this phase. So now I'm just double checking the Hydra where he is. Looks like he's bored or she's bored. It's just in the middle of the map, just minding its own business. You know, good for the Hydra. Finally, I don't have to give it attention. It just wants attention. That's basically what this Nightfall is all about. Gotta babysit the Hydra. It wants attention. And it's very annoying because it messes up our DPS on barrier champions, our Wyverns, overload champions, everything. I'm gonna do enough damage for this Hydra to disappear. So I'm gonna do a mini time skip for this. I'm just mainly going to do Lemon Arc until the 2 Wyverns spawn. So once you do enough damage to the Hydra, 2 Wyverns will appear. Now I was trying to see if the Wyverns will move in the middle of the map. I didn't see them, by the way. So plan B, by the way, if you don't see them in the middle, I usually like to move from the right side. So right now I'm just using my sword just to see where they're gonna go. Maybe they'll go from the left side. Maybe they'll go from the right side. Mainly, I always see them either walk in the middle, in the tunnel, or they just move from the right side. Now, if they move in the right side, you are extremely lucky because this is your perfect chance to spam storm grenades. So remember, storm grenades can actually follow enemies from close by, so you could just throw your storm grenades and then it'll do all the damage for you. It will do all the damage for you. So you can see here the storm grenades are moving. It's moving towards the Wyvern. So I was lucky over here because I didn't have to use my super. Usually I use my super, but I didn't. But if you do have to use your super, by the way, then it's okay because you can get your super back from dealing with the 2 barrier champions. So now what I'm going to do over here is deal with this very annoying Hydra, mini Hydra. So if you do enough damage, this Hydra will disappear and then we can deal with the 2 barrier champions. So right now I'm just using Lemon Arc right now. Just trying to do damage to it. I didn't want to throw my grenades too much even though I could get it back anyway, so once the Hydra takes the void, basically it means it goes away for now. Now you deal with the 2 barrier champions. So usually you can deal with 4 barrier champions. I don't think it's the safest way for the Titan. For the Hunter, yes, you can get away of dealing with 4 barrier champions because if you're on Hunter, especially if you're using invisibility, you can deal them quite easily. But for this one, I do recommend to just take 2 at a time. Especially with this loadout and with the super, it's just really difficult to deal with 4 barrier champions. I can use my Thunder Crash, but I want to save it for the next phase. So the next phase is basically dealing with 4 more Overload champions. And I definitely need to save my super just in case if something goes wrong or I need to take them down very quickly. So this is when the final boss will spawn. This is the next phase when we actually have to deal with 2 more Minotaurs. And it could be a nightmare. So mainly you want to bait them in the middle of the tunnel. Reason is because, well, the boss is walking around, so I can't really go from the far left side to manipulate them like I did with the Wyverns. So be aware of your surroundings and then just throw your grenades. As I said before, they can follow enemies, so that's the good thing about using storm grenades. But you know, sometimes the storm grenades, the overload grenades don't stagger the overload champions, mainly these specific champions. And it can be so annoying and it can ruin runs, and I really hate that. I really hate that the overload nades that cost 2 energy, by the way. Sometimes they're not consistent of staggering the overload champions, especially the Minotaurs, and it's so annoying. I hate it. It drives me crazy. Like, why? I spend 2 energy for the class armor and it's not working properly. And I do recommend to use Lemonarch with, of course, the overload grenades. So you can see over here was a bit dangerous, so I did have to use overload bow Lemonarch, and then I had to back away. So when you do see the boss low on damage, just spam sword. Just use sword to do DPS. That way you can deal with the overload champions. And then of course proceed to the next phase. More overload champions. I'm going to do a mini time skip here. I'm just going to do damage at the boss half of the second bar so we can spawn the overload champions, the 2 more champions. After spending 2 minutes of my life, 2 minutes of torturing this final boss, I don't feel any pityness, so feel sorry for this boss. It deserves to be Lemonarch. Now we're going to be dealing with 2 more overload champions, last one by the way, so make sure you bait them. Mainly you want to bait the overload champions and then just Lemonarch and then throw grenades and back away. Try to use the wall, right? The wall to hide and peek. Try to peek and then shoot. Mainly kind of like PvP, kinda. I'm not saying 100%, kinda. So make sure you just throw your storm grenades. And if you see it stagger, then just spam Lemonarch. And you can see there is a lot of teleportation. So you notice that the storm grenade staggered the overload champion, but it didn't. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't like it. It's not effective 100%. Sometimes it just goes and doesn't stagger the overload champions. And great, I missed the overload champion, but it did splash damage, so that's the good news. Either that, I'm happy enough. Happy enough. So now we're going to deal with the second overload champion. And I'm trying to find out where he is. So usually at this part, the overload champion can be at the left side, teleport in the middle in front of you. So right now I'm just double checking of where the overload champion is. This is when the overload champion is going to be walking around. So just make sure you see where you are. And then I thought maybe he's outside. And yes, he's outside. Sorry about that. My controller randomly used heavy. I didn't do it, By the way, I was trying to switch to a different weapon and my controller was just being weird. So yeah, my controller is broken. So, you know, I'm not planning to get a new controller. I'm not going to pay $80 or $70, you know, because I already got the new controller that I pre-order. So I'm just going to wait until January. I will have to deal with this broken controller. It's going to be annoying, but nothing I can do. I just don't want to spend $70 on a PlayStation controller. So now what I'm going to do over here is make the boss move, by the way. If you're wondering why I was standing there, it's because I was recording. I was checking the settings, so just making sure I can record so nothing bad will happen with the footage right now. So I'm going to do a mini time skip here. I'm going to do DPS at the boss until we spawn, until we go to the last phase. Alright, so once I do DPS at this boss, this is going to be the last phase where we actually have to deal with Wyverns, or the peacock backs, which I like to give them a nickname. Because the way they walk and then the way they go aggressive, it just looks like a bird, to be honest. So during this phase can be tricky because guess what? We're going to have this baby Hydra getting all needy, wanting attention again. I just want attention. Please, attention, Guardian. So now this is going to be the big problem of we gotta watch the Hydra and deal with the Wyverns. So over here, my controller got messed up. Not on this part, but the second phase. The second mini phase, I accidentally used my super at the opposite direction. Not on this one. But things can happen, especially when your controller is not working properly. So now I'm going to go Merry-Go Death. So remember when I made a joke about Merry-Go Death on Corrupted? Well, you could do the same thing, but you have to be aware of the flank of the bigger champions. Now, I did saw the bigger champion shooting me. That's why I pulled back. But this area over here is also dangerous because the bigger champions can teleport behind you or the Wyverns and they can snipe you. And they can go inside the tunnel and snipe you. Happened to me many times, but over here I was lucky, to be honest. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen. I'm going to say I was lucky there. So now I'll dodge, right? Because I saw this Wyvern. So now I'm going to go Merry-Go Death. Everything seems to be safe. And the storm grenades was following the Wyvern. Like, wow. It's just amazing. These storm grenades are so deadly. Imagine if I was on PC, 120 frames. Then this Nightfall would be an absolute joke because of how much damage you can do with these storm grenades. So now this is the phase where you need to check where the Hydra is. You gotta babysit it. And you have to bait these barrier champions to move in the middle. Eventually, this will take a while, but eventually these barrier champions will peak. And then this is when you could do DPS. So just be aware that the final boss is lurking around too. So you don't really have too much time to deal with these barrier champions. So make sure you take them down as quickly as possible because the final boss is going to move in the middle of the map. It's going to move to the middle of the map. And it's going to shoot void at you, which can be extremely dangerous. Alright, so now we're going to deal with this barrier champion. And unfortunately, he moved and I can't get him. That is just unfair. Alright, let's try again. Hopefully nothing bad will happen. It's not like he's gonna fall off, right? But I just wouldn't like that so much. So make sure you throw your grenades. Hopefully this beard champion will cooperate. Please cooperate. No, he's not cooperating. Alright, he fell down. Okay, it's alright. Everything's good as long as I can do precision shots in the stomach. I just really hate these champions because it's really hard to shoot the stomach. It's really hard to shoot the stomach because their head is in the way. And it's so annoying. I really hate these barrier champions. Alright, so now this barrier champion is not cooperating. I saw ammo up there, so might as well abuse shoot to loot. So this barrier champion was being weird, by the way. So now I'm going to be using my scout, shoot lemon arc, and throw grenades. Hopefully he won't move. Please don't move. Don't move, don't be a bungee, just cooperate so I can get this Nightfall done, barrier champion. That's all I want, just cooperate. I just want this Nightfall done, even though I already done it already on Hunter. I just want it done. Please cooperate. Please cooperate. You see what I mean of you only have a time limit to deal with the barrier champions? I wasn't even joking about that. Not only that happened, but the Hydra, the mini Hydra was shooting arc at me. That is so unfair. So I was lucky there to take down the barrier champion. So now this is the time that you can kill this mini Hydra. You're done. You're done of babysitting this Hydra. Done for the day. So just take down this Hydra. No more babysitting, right? Isn't it a great feeling? Get to abuse this mini Hydra. So I'm gonna do a mini time skip here. Alright, so right now I'm just trying to move this Hydra back and left and right, because this Hydra was being weird, by the way. And then the boss, right, kept shooting void at me inside the tunnel, which was very weird. Like at this spot where I was standing, and then this spot, it was just very annoying. So now I'm going to take advantage and then just spam grenades. Now this is when two barrier champions will spawn, so usually I like to go from the left side. And yes, I did not mean to do that, by the way. I was trying to use Thunder Crash on a different direction, but my controller said, no, Blitz, the other way. So my bad for that. So excuse of my poor super there. Alright, my controller's not working well. I mean, you already saw my controller being weird of the sword doing a heavy attack by itself. So when things happen like this, just go merry go death, but be aware of the barrier champion. If you see a barrier champion, then back away. Back away and then just try again. So now I'm just using the sword and then taking advantage of the storm grenades because they can follow the Wyverns, which is really good to know because even if I throw them really bad, they'll follow the Wyverns, which is what I want. So I was trying to figure out if this Wyvern is finishable. I really couldn't tell. So he was just following me, so I just throw grenades until he dies. That's basically what I did over here. So I was waiting for him to be taken down, which I was really happy. Excuse me for that, my controller was being weird again. See, I'm not even lying or over-exaggerating. See, I told you guys. See, the reason why I messed up my super is because my controller was being weird. It was making me use my super the opposite direction of where I wanted it to use. I wanted to use super on the left side. Nope, it went to the right side. It's okay. Alright, you know, things happen. And then trying to switch weapons, it's making my character do a heavy attack on the controller, and it's just so annoying. Really hate it. So now I am trying to see if I can find the Wyvern. Once I deal with two of the Wyverns, which was extremely dangerous and extremely crazy, right? Now I'm gonna deal with the barrier champion. So this is gonna be the last barrier champions, by the way. So finally I can deal with it. I don't have to be stressful from these deadly Wyverns. So that's mainly what you want to do. So one more barrier champion, and this barrier champion was being very weird. So this champion was moving from the left side and I couldn't really do DPS. So I was trying to see if I can make him move. At the same time, I was trying to see of where the final boss is. So I see him standing there. I was shooting him a bit, by the way. And then I pulled back. I pulled back and said, okay, well, now I don't think he'll be able to shoot me since I am on this specific map, and made him move from the left side. So now I'm trying to bait the barrier champion, like, come on, barrier champion, just pop out. I know this looks silly, but usually the method works. You just keep shooting Lemonarch or Scout, usually Lemonarch. And then this barrier champion will appear, and now he's being annoying. I don't understand. He's being extremely frustrating. He's playing trials, and this is PvE. What is going on, barrier champion? I just want to get this done. Please, I just want to get platinum and be on my way. And then it moves again. It moves again. What a sore loser. This barrier champion is a sore loser. I cannot believe it. Alright, let's try again. Let's go to this direction. I don't really like standing here because every time I stand on this specific spot, the boss moves, but nothing I can do, so I had to go with this method. And then he starts moving again, so then I said, okay, what if I just move around? Maybe this barrier champion will stop moving or go into the opposite direction. It seemed to work, by the way. And then finally I can take down this barrier champion. My gosh, they're so annoying. So once I deal with that, now I get to deal with the final boss. So basically it's platinum, so I was really happy. So you can actually do DPS on this spot or the far right side. For me, I just chose the far right side because the boss wasn't cooperating with me. So I'm going to do a mini time skip. So now I'm going to do DPS at the boss. So you can actually shoot the shield, by the way, and then just throw storm grenades. They can follow the boss, by the way. So you can just do DPS, as I said before, and then take him down. So basically, that is it, guys. I mean, I'm just spamming Lemonarch and abusing it. Overall, I hate the Wyverns. They're so cheap, unfair, too much teleportation. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.